When we last left off, Neptune arrived on the scene and scolded the winds for stirring up the storm and messing with his sphere of influence. In this section, we are going to see how he and his attendants restore order, and we are going to get a pretty cool simile, too, the first one in the Aeneid. Sic ait is our closing quotation marks, and kitios is a comparative adverb, with its ablative of comparison, dicto, more swiftly than his words. Neptune is calming the seas even as he speaks, or heck, even quicker than that. And don't confuse fugat with a related word fugit. This one means causes to flee. In line 144, we have two of Neptune's assistants, the sea nymph Chimothoe and Triton, one of Neptune's sons. Akuto scopulo, in lines 144 and 145, is an ablative of separation. So these two push the ships, probably the three that run aground on the altars, off from the sharp rock. Ipse, in 145, refers to Neptune himself, and we have an ablative of means with tridenti, his three-toothed trident. Neptune continues his actions in 146 with vastas aperet syrtes. Supposedly, he makes a path through these sandbars and settles the sea with temperat ichor, ichor being the level plane of the sea. It's neuter, accusative singular. Finally, we have a synthesis in line 147. Per labitur is deponent, and the rotis, wheels, is a synecdoche, where the part represents the whole. So here, wheels represents Neptune's chariot. This mosaic of Neptune and his chariot doesn't really depict his wheels, though, and, well, neither does this one. And this mosaic doesn't even give Neptune a chariot, but really, what are wheels used for on water? That's beside the point. Now, on to the famous simile of the order. I'll discuss the specifics of this simile in another video. It's too important and awesome to leave to the middle part of a video like this, but I will lead you through the reading of it. So many of Virgil's similes are introduced by a like or just as, so the veluti here is something you should remember. And Virgil also uses velut, ut, and qualis pretty frequently. The subject of the verb coorta est is in line 149, a seditio, or a rebellion, and this is a cum clause with the indicative. Translate cum here as when or whenever. Coorta est, or coortast if you want to say the elision, is a perfect tense verb, but translated as has arisen instead of arose. This traditionally perfect translation makes more sense given the present tense verbs that follow, saivet, volant, and ministrat. The ignobila vulgus, that is the subject of saivet in line 149, is the common crowd. Ignobila is literally not noble, with animis, an ablative of location, in their hearts. And notice that volant is third-person plural. The subjects are the faces et saxa, torches and rocks. The main verb for the next clause is conspexere, an alternate ending for the third-person plural of the perfect tense. Again, since we have present tense verbs silent and adstant immediately following this, translate conspexere with have caught sight. The subject of this verb is the people in the common crowd. And who did they see? A virum, a man. Since the quem follows, at a little bit of a distance, the si, read this as an aliquem. So after si, nisi, num, and ne, ali takes a holiday. And the monosyllabic ending to this line with quem really delivers an emphatic punch. So it's not necessarily a specific man, but some man who is gravem with both pietas and meriti. Si forte is common in Virgil, meaning if by chance, and arectis auribus is an ablative absolute, with raised ears. Kind of like a dog. The members of the crowd are attentively listening. The ille in line 153 is this man, and we learned that he's an orator from this phrase. Finally, pector mocet sounds like Neptune's own action in line 142, aequora placat, especially since we have the aequora in the same position in the next line. And the sic in 154, in this way, tells us that the simile is over. Cunctus modifies fragor. Prospiciens in line 155 recalls the same word, also describing Neptune here, the genitor, in line 127. And there's a bit of a synthesis with invectus modifying genitor. and caelo with aperto, an ablative of location. And finally, with the waters calmed and everything put back in order, Neptune departs from the scene in 156. Couru is a dative, modified by secundo, meaning favorable or willing. So in these lines, Neptune completes his calming of the seas after the storm stirred up by Aeolus. In many ways, it's the domination of piety over rage, as we see in the simile of a pious orator calming an angry mob. Next up, either check out the simile of the orator more or continue with the epic and learn how the wounded Trojan fleet limps to a safe harbor in Africa.